in your mind for you and for I'm trying to decide from the look in your eyes, yeah. I mean besides, but your feelings inside you.
You're listening to Inside the RV. This is episode 33. Thanks for joining us, Insiders. Shout out to everyone who's been rocking with us, who's listening. We appreciate you guys. This is Inside the RV. This is a podcast about entrepreneurship, work ethic, self-development, and becoming the best version of yourself. You're joined by your two lovely, oh so gracious, pretty good-looking, modest hosts. I'm one of them. My name's Jacob Moore.
And I'm Ryan Ramirez, a.k.a. Double R.
Double R. Jacob Moore and Ryan Ramirez. Together, we are an artist and artist-manager duo looking to come up in the music industry and be successful. We're chronicling our come-up in real time and telling you guys the things we learn on the way. Here's something that I've learned. You can't wait for opportunity. Opportunity is one of those things that it's a mutual force, right? Mm-hmm. You go to opportunity and opportunity also comes to you. Now, what prompted me thinking about this is that Ryan and I were speaking to some people and we didn't know if a project was going to happen or something like that. And Styx told me, and if you haven't listened to the podcast before and you don't know, Styx is our choreographer and creative director and good friend who's a part of our team. He's a killer. And he was like, listen, guys, no matter what happens, we don't wait on people. Mm-hmm. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, are they going to bring us the next project? What's it going to be? Let's completely stop everything. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, that's so true, because for a minute I got hung up and I was like, am I waiting for a phone call? What am I going to do? Mm-hmm. Whatever. And it led me to think, this is somewhat related, but it got me just thinking that waiting in general is just a bad idea, because you're stopping yourself from doing things that could progress you forward. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm waiting for this opportunity. I'm waiting for that guy to hit me up. That's not how you build a career. That's not how you land an internship. That's not how you get a job. That's not how a new song comes out. You don't wait for this guy's verse for 6 months, because guess what? You don't have a damn song out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I've learned is that if you want opportunities to come to you, you got to go after them, because they're everywhere. We've talked about this in previous episodes. Opportunities are everywhere. There's always people looking to commission someone for something. There's always a dope producer looking for a dope artist to work with. There's always opportunity in the air. But if you just sit there and wait for it to come to you, number one, I think that's a little bit of ego thinking, oh, it's just going to come to me. It's just going to come to me without putting in the work. Mm-hmm. So, and we always talk about how bad it is to have an ego. You can listen in other episodes. So that's number one. And then the other thing is you're just sitting and idling by. You're not taking actionable steps every single day to try to get, and time is going, and you're not taking those steps to bring those opportunities to you. It's like you meet the opportunity halfway. You don't, they're always going to come to you, but you also have to come to them.
In my opinion, the best thing to do is set yourself up in a way to where you don't have to rely on people. But when time comes, you're able to walk to like certain doors. Mm-hmm. But like, let's say like if that door closes or like things get flaky or doesn't work out, you could still always fall back on yourself and your team and not have to rely on shit. Which I think that's our whole thing. Like we set ourselves up to where we don't have to rely on shit. Mm-hmm. Like we can just make records all day long. Mm-hmm. We don't need some crazy, obviously, things can be enhanced with different people.
Totally.
But we set ourselves up to where we're still going to make moves if we don't have it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like always set yourself up in a way to where you can still make moves. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm like terrified of like contracts in a way too, because like with certain people or whatever, because I always want to make sure like, do I still have that freedom to where if I get shelved or if our team gets put on hold for certain things and not prioritized, can we still make moves and still move forward? Otherwise, a year can go by and you're still like trying to figure out like, oh, like, well, we can't do anything because the label, shelved us and like we can't release anything or whatever it is. It's like, I don't know. I feel like the best thing to do is always set yourself up in a way to where you don't have to rely on shit.
Yeah.
But you're ready for what you said, like opportunity. Like you got to look for those opportunities, which I think, like for me, is still something I'm learning, because I got so prideful with the not relying on people thing that sometimes I think I can shut myself up to certain opportunities. But it's a balance, because I got to make sure, like, I can't let my ego get in the way too much, and I gotta. There's always some kind of compromise you got to make with certain things and certain people. So it's like a balance you got to ride that line with,
Yeah. to talk about how you said you never want to have someone restrict your freedom to do what you want, you know. I think that's such a huge thing. You're always trying to mitigate as many barriers to your freedom of expression and freedom to make moves as possible. You're always trying to mitigate that. And so whether that means not signing some shitty contract where you have zero creative control, or whether that just means, you know, not working with certain people, even in an informal way, who will inhibit you from being able to do what you want. So that's kind of where it's like treacherous too, because you, like you said, you know, and I feel the same way. You want to go out and get opportunities, you want to work with people, but there's that fine line of like, okay, anytime you add an additional person to your team, that's an additional person in the decision-making process who may put their hand up and say, hold on, let's not do this. But that can be a huge advantage because now you have an additional team member who could be like, hey, I'm going to help you enhance the shit out of things, like with Sticks.
The balance,
Yeah, like Sticks, like he's the perfect example of like a team member that we added on a long time ago, and he knows perfectly when to say like, hold on a second, guys, let's not do that, or let's do this, whatever. But as soon as you start adding in way too many people, there's too many heads in the room, suddenly you look and you're like, wow, how have I limited myself so much? So that's something that I have to like deal with too as the manager, is like, I really kind of am very critical about our circle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think me, you, and Sticks have built up like a really dope team. Like beyond me, you, and Sticks, like there's other people that we work with that are super dope, you know. But I'm constantly like, okay, Jacob, you know, as the manager, you're kind of helping steer the ship here. Like, be critical of who you let on board, because you don't want someone to overthrow the captains. But at the same time, if there's a guy who's got a better map than we do, or a girl or whatever, why wouldn't we let them on board? So I'm kind of at a constant battle like that.
It's a learning thing, like constantly. I think I've realized that like it's always best to work with people who genuinely believe in you, because I feel like I got a lot of advice like in the past of people telling me like, yo, you need this kind of person in your life, so you may have to pay them to like do certain things for you. It's like, nah, like I'd rather people come to me, and if they don't come to me yet, then I have work to do on myself to make them want to work with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. Because I don't know, I always try to make sure, like what you said, like our team and whoever's around us, it's not transactional. Like I don't want to have to pay. So, I mean, there's exceptions, but like I don't want to have to pay someone for their time, because they're probably not going to give me a wholehearted like result than someone who like would do anything to like bring the vision to life because they believe in it, and vice versa. I believe in them, vice versa. So I always realized like our team like slowly started building, like one person at a time, like over a few years.
We've been doing this for almost 3 years, and we just are expanding the team. Like, oh wow, sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, go
but
ahead.
Like, wow, we have dudes who are on deck to help us with social media now. We have a person who's, you know, like super helpful with fan engagement. I have a buddy who helps us out with like all the advertising stuff. Like we have Sticks, you know, like but that took a really long time to build. But each of those people bought into us. They were like, yo, we love what you're doing. Like in any way that I can help you, I want to do it. Now here's something I want to touch on about what you said. Me and Ryan aren't a bunch of fucking cheapskates. We want to pay people for their service. I don't want people to get your words twisted around with what you said earlier. Like, Ryan wants to pay people. We pay people for music videos and content. Like, we're not a bunch of cheapskates.
But there's a difference between reaching out to someone and say, hey, I will pay you to do this for me. Other than like they reached out to us and was like, hey, I want to be a part of this. Cool, we'll bring you in. We're going to compensate you for it. You know what I'm saying? But you're not doing it just for the money. Like you see a bigger vision.
Exactly. That's what I was going to touch on. So, and thankfully with the relationships that Ryan and I have created, we have a lot of good people who have reached out and been like, hey, we want to help you like free of charge. But that took years, you know, that took like me like having to like dedicate everything to this. You know, like the people that help me on the business end that I don't really compensate. Oh, and I want everyone to rest assured, you know, years from now, they will be very, very fairly compensated. When Ryan and I have lots of money, these people that are helping us and investing in us early, they're going to get Benihana every night. But, you know, these people bought into us because they saw how much we wanted it. They saw the work we were putting in. And that's what Ryan's saying. Like when people see you truly grinding, they'll come to you and they'll say, hey, I want to help you out. Now, of course, money could get involved. We want to pay people. You know, I always want to pay people
Yeah.
for their service. Like in my day job, I work freelance, business services to people. Like I want to get paid. I want to pay people.
Yeah.
So I don't want anyone to get that twisted. But there is a really, really cool type of relationship that's the best type of relationship when it's mutually beneficial and people see that we can help them, they can help us, and the money's just kind of like a bonus. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
if you could pay me, cool, but I fuck with you guys so heavily that I'm willing to just hop on board and give you some of my free time. And those are usually the best relationships. Like those relationships, 10 out of 10 times are going to be more fun. You're going to vibe with those people as opposed to just DMing someone, hey, I'll pay you X amount of dollars for this transaction. I need you to do it. Because then it's a one-time deal.
Yeah, the way I see it is like if you don't have that person in the specific thing, like let's say like a photographer or something, then you got work to do still.
Yeah.
Like no one's hit you up for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so take pictures yourself.
Yeah.
Or you take pictures on the iPhone of me and
Yeah.
shit. So it's like use what you got and wait for those people to like want to be a part of the squad. Like I want people who are like just very excited to
Writers.
work. Like no, yeah, people who are like excited to do it.
Yeah.
And that hit me up and do it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Find people who genuinely believe in you.
Yeah. And that's another example of you and opportunity meeting. You know, like, so here's a great example. So like Ryan said, like me and Ryan and Sticks, for the most part, have been like shooting Ryan's Instagram content for the last like 2 or 3 years. And Ryan will call me and drive to my house. We'll go to the park next to my house. He'll take his shirt off. I take pictures. The neighbors look at us funny, rinse and repeat. But or Sticks will come into Ryan's RV, take pictures. He'll say, hey, let's film a video, whatever. Now it's gotten to the point where we've prepared ourselves so well for opportunity, meaning we've grinded so hard, we're shooting our own content, that other content creators have reached out to us and been like, yo, dude, like what you're doing is dope. Just pay me the gas money to get to the video shoot and I'll shoot the video for free. You know, for example, like that's an example of like we grinded, we knew an opportunity was going to come, but we didn't just wait for it. We were like, fuck it, let's keep grinding, whatever. And we knew that showing people results was going to help meet us with that opportunity. So now, thankfully, we've got like cool dudes that we're plugged in with who are like, oh, you need photos? Like, yeah, we'll shoot them.
And I think committing to shit and being on top of shit plays a huge part in attracting those people. Because I notice like the majority of people I meet, they'll be flaky or like they'll promise like, yo, like I really want to do this, let's do it. And then I would hit him up and be like, cool, I'm ready. What's happening?
Yeah.
This came up, or it's like you weren't really about it. So I noticed like when we're like that, our team is very like, yo, we have something this day, 3 p.m. The day before, yo, we still good for 3 p.m. tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like I think when people notice that, it's like, okay, they're really about it, and like I feel comfortable being a part of it because I can see results based on the commitment that they have,
It's just taking it seriously. Here's what I think a lot of people, mostly artists, upcoming artists don't really take themselves seriously. They still kind of look at it as one of those things like, oh, I'm making music in my bedroom. Like Ryan could take this one of two ways. He could either be like, yeah, I just make records in, my mom's RV, whatever, or he could live, eat, sleep, and breathe that shit.
Yeah.
And you chose to eat, sleep, and breathe that shit and stay so committed and so serious. Like Ryan is the guy who, like, if he invites you over for a studio session and you're like 15 minutes late, Ryan will tell you, hey man, that's not cool. You need to respect my time. Like I'm down to work with you. That's dope. But he's hardcore. Like Ryan's serious about that. And most upcoming artists would be like, what's the big deal, bro? Like we're just working out of your mom's house. Like we're just upcoming artists, whatever. But that's not the level of commitment that's going to really catapult you into success. Like me and Ryan are trying to do like stadium shit, And it's like, if we don't adopt that level of truthfulness and honesty and just commitment to being real and serious about what we're doing, if we don't adopt that early on now, number one, I just don't think we're going to get to an amazing level. Number two, if we do get to an amazing level, I don't think we're going to sustain it because we're not going to have built up those fundamental skills that it takes to sustain that level of success, which is truthfulness, honesty, being real with people, not getting butthurt, getting your feelings hurt. So that's one of those things, like, in order to bring those opportunities to yourself, like, take it seriously. Now, music is one of those things specifically where, like I've said before, guys, like, I played in a band for a really long time. I have records out on Spotify. I've produced records. Like, I know what it's like to be an artist. So, and I know what it's like to feel like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I make records. Like, oh, I make songs. It's easy to not take it seriously, but
like it shouldn't feel like work type shit.
yeah. Oh, I never want this to feel like work, whatever. Motherfucker, this is going to be the hardest job you ever do if you're really trying to get to like the level of the Justin Biebers and Chris Browns and all that shit. That's why only, 0.001% of people make it.
Yeah.
But basically, after all this ranting, what I'm trying to tell you is you need to take things really seriously. And the people that tell you, bro, you're taking this too seriously, fuck them. They're never going to reach the level of success that they want to.
Those people low-key envy like the amount of seriousness that you could put in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's another thing. When I first started doing my freelancing day job, I got a guy who sent me a message with a proposal and was like, hey, I have this job. I want you to do whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. Here's my price. And we like bickered back and forth. And he was like, dude, like, seriously, that's just way too much, whatever. And I was like, dude, I have a high value skill. This is what I do. Here's my experience, whatever. This is the price. And he was like, nah, bro, LOL, I don't know why you're taking this so seriously. And that, yeah. And I was like,
money's coming into play. Like, why is he saying that?
Just to this day, I remember that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take this 50 times more seriously now. And now I make more money than I did in the beginning, because I fucking take it seriously. But anytime I think of myself like, oh, Jacob, are you taking this too seriously? I think of where I started. That was one of the first people I ever almost did work with. Like one of my first clients. I didn't work with that motherfucker. Fuck him. But, if I never adopted that like rawness, that seriousness, and just like, I want to take this seriously, I want opportunities to come to me, I don't know where the fuck I'd be, but that goes through my head like every day. Anytime we have to meet with people or anything like that, I'm like, I'm going to just take myself really seriously. And if people don't take me seriously or they think I'm, fucking like, that's embarrassing that I take it seriously or whatever, they can work their 9 to 5 for the rest of their life or whatever. I'm not.
Yeah, I think that, bro, one of the hardest things, at least for me,
yeah,
but I definitely got better at it, is like just being hella straight up with people.
Yeah.
Like harsh truth, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're
like
a dick.
There were a couple times, there were a couple times where like what you said, like people came strolling in like our session like a half hour late. Like it's one thing to like tell me like, yo, I hit some traffic, I'll be there like 10 minutes late. Or yeah, that's cool, whatever. But if you don't say anything to me and you stroll in 30 minutes late like nothing happened, bro, I fucking map out my whole day's schedule. So like, don't think that I'm just chilling all day and waiting for you. Like I'm blocking out my day. And so those little things, I like there were a couple times where I would say, yo, bro, like I'm gonna be honest with you, dude, like I feel like you kind of wasted my time. You know what I'm saying? Because I take my day seriously, like an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, bro, like, are we not cool like that or what? It's like, nah, that's not it. It's not personal. It's just like, I'm trying to get to a high level.
Yeah.
And so that takes a huge amount of commitment of like your time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I love that. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's not being a dick. It's and that's another thing too. Like especially, I don't want to say just music is such a relationship-based industry, because it is, but every industry is based on relationships. Like anything you want to do is based on relationships. Yeah. So you got to be cool to people, but at the same time, if you let people walk all over you, if you give someone an inch, they will take a mile.
Yep.
Okay? Someone's 10 minutes late today, they're going to be 45 minutes late tomorrow. I used to be that fucking asshole. I still am occasionally. I'm working on it, okay? Yeah. But I do want to say that, you give someone an inch, they're going to take a mile. Don't let people walk all over you. Establish those boundaries. And if you're afraid of hurting their feelings, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, dude, once you grow up a little bit, and I'm not trying to say this like once you grow up, because I'm not even fully grown. Like I still live with my parents and shit. I'm not out here to preach to people what to do. I'm just saying, like, as I've gotten older, one thing I've realized is once you grow up a little bit and you work with different people and you have different opportunities and you're really hustling, you do realize, like Ryan's saying, your time is valuable. Yeah. Your time's really freaking valuable. And it seems like there's less and less of it every day. Yeah. And it's like when you do want to get to a higher level, that being 30 minutes to the session or whatever, it matters. Not like, calling someone back for something, it matters.
It's like when you go to like your 9 to 5 job, the tension that there is, like if you're like 15 minutes late, with the tension with your boss, like I want that. Like that sounds kind of weird to say, but like I want that to transfer over to like even just like my home studio space, because I want you to feel like this is a priority and this is an important thing. Not you, but like in general. Like I want people to feel like, yo, when you come to this space, like I want to create that energy and that environment to where, yo, we're out to do some serious work and to really level up.
Yeah.
I want that to be like the feeling. And so, and I feel like to create that, you gotta have people on their shit with time and everything. Yeah. And if you kind of let things slip in the cracks, like what you said, give someone an inch, they're gonna what is it? They're gonna run.
Give them an inch. They're gonna run the fitness gram pacer test. No, if you give someone an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a balance though too, because I feel like it's a creative thing. It's music, so you gotta create good vibes.
100%.
But there's a way to like balance it to where it's like. We're still taking the shit serious.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to win, you know?
Now here's another thing. If Ryan or I go on a date with a girl, if she's 5 minutes late, I Uber her home. It ain't gonna fucking happen. Okay? I go, you respect my time. Okay? Okay, message me on Bumble when you're ready to be an adult. Okay? And then I send her off. No, I'm just kidding.
5 minutes is
yeah. No, but yeah, obviously like there's times where if someone's like 10, 15 minutes late, like I don't care. If I'm chilling at home one night or whatever, and Ryan says he's gonna come by, and he's like, hey, I'll actually be like 45 minutes late. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's more. I think it's more so like the people's like attitude towards it. I don't know how to explain it. Like you can feel it. Yeah. Like if someone's 15 minutes late here, but they're like, hey, bro, like I apologize, whatever. Like like that's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you kind of stroll in here like, yo, like thinking you're cool because you're late and shit, I'm like, I don't fuck with that. Like,
I agree.
We're here to work, you know. So there's a vibe you gotta feel. I don't know.
I love how hardcore you are.
We're going
bro.
in right now.
Yeah, we are. I love that. It's man. It feels good to take things seriously too.
But, sorry.
My favorite thing in the world is like when Ryan has a music video and I get to like, I call it performing. Like, okay, like as the manager, my job now is to ensure that we're like, as an independent, like upcoming manager, obviously when you're shooting like a big video, there's going to be a director, someone has like the call sheet, they got it all mapped out. Like I may just be there kind of having my eyes and ears open and seeing things. But like at our level, like there are certain times where I, as the manager, have to perform and take it really fucking seriously. And that's like my favorite thing in the world. Like when we did the no help shoot, you know, obviously Sticks was a huge part of that. But I also felt like on the morning of the shoot, I was like, okay, I'm going to pick Ryan up. We're going to be on time here. Like as soon as we get there, I'm going to brief everybody, say, yo, this is exactly what we're going to do.
The rental car.
Yeah. And I did that,
yeah,
you know, and it felt so good to like be the man and to take things seriously. And I know Sticks probably felt that way too, because he was a huge part in making that video awesome, you know, and he was great at you know, directing people and delegating and doing all that shit. So take things seriously, man. It feels good. You should take pride in that. Like at the end of the day, if you have a photo shoot or you have a project and you're like, yo, Jake, I need your help with something, like whatever it is, I feel good knowing like, damn, I showed up and I performed at a very high level. I live for that shit.
Yeah.
Like my favorite things of yours, even though they're the most stressful, are music videos, because I know that I'm like, okay, cool, Jacob, like you could shine or you cannot. You can smudge or you can shine. You know, which one's it gonna be?
Yeah.
So I get fired up even more for like video shoots, photo shoots. It's like, cool, how can I help people? Like, how can I use my skills? So I love that.
Yeah, that's super dope. When you have like a block of time to deliver.
Yeah.
Instead of like overall.
Yeah.
Because
that's why like the school tour, I think I'm just stroking my own dick here a little bit.
No,
but
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Like even with the school tour, like I loved it because I was in charge.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
we rolled up and I was like, all right, this is how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Here's the equipment. Like Ryan, this is how we're gonna set it up. All these little kids who were like and jumping on Ryan and shit, and we had to like push them off. You know, I was like in charge of the mic. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Ramirez. You know, but I loved that I had a role that I could take really seriously. I think everybody ultimately is just looking for fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know, and you get fulfillment when you have, number one, a role that you like, and number two, that you could just take seriously.
Like a purpose. for the
you have a
situation.
purpose.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think like we're hardwired to work. Like I genuinely think like especially like young testosterone filled men, I think all like young men need to have a job where they like take the lead and be in charge. Like we're very young, we're full of energy, filled with testosterone. A lot of people hate that. I think it's a fucking great thing, you know, and it can be put to good use. It can also be put to bad use. But I think, you know, I'm telling you as a young guy, if you're another young guy listening, like the greatest thing that you can do for your own health to use that testosterone and that energy in a good way is to find a role where that you can really get fulfillment from and take it seriously, put all that energy you have to good use and create something great out of it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's super dope.
Yeah. That's all I got. That was my role right there.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I just went in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. I want to go back to because I think we started off talking about like opportunities, right? I think I was reading in this book. I forgot which one. I read like a few books in the past like 2 months, but I'm pretty sure it was called "As a Man Thinketh." I think it was that one. As a Man Thinketh.
Doth the man thinketh, the man do thinketh. Yes, yes. That's like some fucking Socrates, like,
yeah.
or no, that's like medieval. Ye old chap, doth the man thinketh. Yes, yes. Like the Black Plague and shit.
Yeah. That's what the book, like the cover looks like too. Actually, it's all like old looking.
It's like you went and bought it in Barnes and Noble, and some guy with a hood and a lantern came up and was like, "Come, we haven't much time."
He showed it to me in the back, and he dusted it off.
And a little spirit came out when he opened it and shit.
What was I even saying? That was about opportunities. So I think I read in that book like there are opportunities everywhere, but a lot of times like people will interpret them differently. Like, cause I just put on my Instagram story like a couple days ago. One man's problem is another man's opportunity.
Yeah.
So like for example, like 2 years ago, when I was crying to myself and being like, oh, I have no resources, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not popping, like, oh, I don't have a team. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? I'm so far behind. I'm like the least talented in the room. All this bullshit that I was telling myself.
Yeah.
I saw that as a problem, but the next guy could have saw that as an opportunity to be like, I could really learn shit and like learn shit how to do shit on my own, which is what I became. And I started to learn all the roles of like, you know, mix engineer, mastering, making songs, writing, photo shoots, everything. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just be a student and use this as an opportunity to grow. And that's when shit really started getting fun and like the team started to come together and like the results were coming. So a lot of times like problems are a good thing in the fact that like there's always like a seed of growth that's planted in those problems. Yeah. But you have to choose to look at it that way, and it can be really hard because you can see it and like, oh, fuck, like this huge obstacle, like why even bother? Like what if it doesn't work out if I do it? All this shit, but there's always that opportunity like right there. And I think that God puts the hardest things, or God puts the best things behind like the tallest mountains, or I forgot what the quote was. Will Smith said it one time. God puts the greatest fulfillment opportunities behind your biggest fears. I think that's what it was. Wow. And that's crazy. Like the analogy he used was because Will Smith went skydiving, and he was like, I was terrified. Like I was like right before jumping out, I was just like, I thought I was gonna die. All this shit, like fear was like coursing through my veins and everything. That didn't make sense, but whatever. Fear was overcoming him, and he was like, but then once I jumped and like that fear went away, it was the most blissful experience like I've ever had in my life. Wow. So he used that analogy, and I was like, damn, that's pretty deep. Like, cause that's how it is like in life with a lot of shit too. Yeah, you just got to do it, and then it's gonna pay off and feel good after, you know.
Yeah. Well, y'all heard it from the Fresh Prince himself. Okay. Yeah. Now, I think that. Yeah, okay, I agree with everything you're saying, and what I'm trying to get across here is that in order to not overwhelm yourself, because I'm a very forward thinker, I'm a very like into the future. Like I've been telling Ryan on the phone lately, like when we start talking way far into the future, I'll kind of be like, all right, bro, we're just talking just to kind of talk now. Like I love envisioning things and manifesting, but like there's not much we can do now.
Yeah.
Like, and especially with like Ryan, is going to come out with like a big song this year. I told him we could sit here and chop it up all day about it, but we don't even have the song yet.
Yeah.
Let's start with square one.
Yeah.
So in order to, because I'm all about managing things well, no pun intended, but that's my role.
Yeah.
I'm about like managing the day-to-day stress, the mental health, the logistics of things. I'm all about managing and organizing things. And I think the best way that I'm constantly looking to systematize things, and we have an episode on that, Systems Breed Success. Go listen to it. I'm constantly looking for ways to organize and systematize. How do you organize and systematize a 5-year long-term huge goal and vision? You can't really, but the best, you can come up with like a roadmap for it, like a 5-year plan or whatever, which is great, which I kind of do like mentally and through my vision board. I come up with these like plans for myself, but in order to make your come up, smoother, or in order to help you manage your journey to success, start looking at things on a day-to-day basis, right? It's so easy for you to get caught up in I'm going to release this song in 3 months, or I got to connect with this person, whatever. But it's like that Ryan Ramirez that you were talking about, 2 years ago, who was crying or whatever, you turned a page and became the fucking badass Ryan Ramirez by your daily actions.
Yeah.
You can sit there. Ryan could have stood up when he was crying, wiped his tears, and said, you know what, man, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that and that. But it starts today. There's no future, there's no past, there's only right now. So what are you going to do right now? And that's something that you should look forward to, like writing, a daily to-do list, whether it's a power list or just a couple things on a to-do. It doesn't fucking matter. Like having daily structure like that, because everything we talk about is kind of like just an iteration of the same things, like daily, continual consistency will compound into great things over time. I think occasionally you should zoom out and say, okay, 1 to 3 months, maybe 6 months a year, what do I want? But the reality is that what you achieve a year from now is dictated by what you do today and how you act today. So in order to help you overcome those fears and to, optimize your way of getting to these great opportunities, like wake up every morning and ask yourself, how can I be the best version of myself today?
And that in my opinion, that should cure all your anxiety about shit. Like that should cure it. Like that, like just knowing like, yo, I have control over this day. Like I can make or break this day. It's up to me. That in itself, like just focusing on today, to me is like a stress like reliever.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, fuck, I got to become this and like, I got to climb this huge mountain and like this person's way ahead of me. Like, dude, you're going to hurt yourself thinking that way.
Just look at it this way.
Yeah.
If you think that way, because I do all the time, I'm just now being able to reel it in. If you're one of those people that says, oh man, I don't know, I got to do this within the year, whatever, like that, you're a very forward thinker.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a good thing. Harness all that power, zoom in a little bit and come back to today.
Yeah.
And look at your hands. I do it all the time. I stop, I take a deep breath, I put my phone behind me. I don't even have it in my sight. I shut my computer for a second. I go, okay, what am I doing in this instant? March, 12th or 13th or whatever today is, at 4:20, whatever, what time it is. What am I doing right now? Because that's what truly matters. So don't beat the shit out of yourself, man. Take it from two guys who are probably, I'm realizing that you and I have like an abnormal level of like being critical. Like when I talk to most people, they're like, Jacob, your like perception of yourself and the way you like view things is not normal. Like you're going really hard, bro. Take it easy. So like take it from two guys.
It's a blessing though.
It is. No, it is. But I'm telling you, the listener, that the insider, take it from two guys who continually beat the fuck out of themselves and are constantly thinking about the future. We're trying to be the next JB. We're trying to be the next Chris Brown. Take it from us. Go day by day. Yeah. Because that's the only thing you have control over is right now.
Dude, and there's a magic that happens with that. And we both started experiencing it like over time, like to where if you just focus on those daily things and moving forward on a daily basis, shit is going to fall into place somehow.
It will.
Like things fall into place at the right times too. You know what I'm saying? Like the people we've met recently, it wouldn't have been a good idea for us to meet them a year ago. Like it made sense for right now. You know what I'm saying? So things will fall into place. Like I'm a firm believer in that. And we're not even like successful yet. And I just like, I know that's just how it is. Because I've heard so many successful people say it too. It's like, just take action on a daily basis and have that faith that just things will work out in your favor. But just create that trajectory to yourself to where, like, we'll call it the universe. The universe has no choice but to make it happen for you because you're just moving in that direction every day, you know?
Here's another thing. When you're constantly thinking about the future and the 5 years and what you're going to do and all this crazy shit, you actually are becoming less productive day by day because you're focusing all your energy on what's to come. Now, there's a healthy level of doing that. Like Gary Vee talks about the micro and the macro. Like, of course, zoom out every now and then, maybe once a week, you know, get a whiteboard, get really creative, smoke a little bit of weed, have a drink, whatever, and just, you know, write up your 5-year plan. What do I want to accomplish? That's dope. Like, have fun with that. Or do it sober, you know, or do it sober. Yeah, whatever you want to do. But there's a lot of like fun in that, and there's a lot of power in that. But when you're so focused on the future, you're taking mental and emotional energy away from things that you could be focusing on today. And we've talked about it before. And I am a firm believer of this. You only have so much energy to give to things physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, here's another thing. I've spoke about this before. If you're focused on one task, humans are horrible multitaskers. I don't care what anybody says. Can we multitask? Yes. Can you do it effectively? Absolutely not. I don't want my heart surgeon at the same time he's giving me surgery to also be, you know, figuring out, you know, what the next best way to do his next heart surgery is or whatever. I want them to be totally focused on what they're doing right now. I think humans have a very, very good a keen, you know, trait for specialization. We're really good at doing one thing. When you're solely focused on one thing like that and giving it all of your energy, you're going to perform the best because your mind isn't clouded with other things.
That's the zone you get into.
That's literally the definition of being in the zone. But the second that Ryan's making a record and he starts thinking about, you know, what we're going to say in this meeting with these producers or whatever like that, he's taking energy away from his main focus, and your result on that song is not going to be good. It's not going to be as best as it could be. So stay focused on one task. And here's another thing about your day to day. That's why having a list is so good. That's why having a calendar and saying, okay, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I'm going to work on this, whatever, and giving yourself time to focus in on something. That's going to mitigate your anxiety and take it from, I'm a very anxious person. You know, I wake up every day with a sense of urgency. I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? Yeah, I've had mornings where I wake up and there's like hot, cold in my chest. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? You know, it's like, damn, I haven't even gotten started on anything because I'm thinking about 20 things, you know? So just focus in on one thing at a time, day by day, let it compound, and I promise you'll begin to see results. Because Ryan and I have too. We're building new relationships. His followers are going up. He's getting more listeners. We're finding better methods of advertising. Like, I feel good about what we're doing. But if I was so focused on, 3 years from now or what we're going to do or whatever, I promise we wouldn't have achieved shit.
And a huge one that still is a struggle for me and probably always will be for all of us is your phone. Like, when you combine going in your phone with doing tasks, bro, like, I've realized the amount of energy that sucks out of you is like times 10. Yeah. Like, then if you put the phone away, like in the other room and just worked, like, it's actually like easy to like zone in on something and put your phone away and forget about it for like an hour. Like, it makes the task like fun in a way.
It does.
Like, it feels good because you're in that zone. But like, when you mix your phone into it and go on TikTok as you're like working on some shit, like here and there, it's like your brain just fucking like, you could feel it burn out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's why I love going to the desert. That's why I love going camping. Like, when we were in Glamis and we're out riding, I don't look at my phone for hours.
Yeah.
And I'm just focused. You can't. I'm just, or you get out in the dunes and you're like, I don't got any service, And after you check your phone 1 or 2 times and there's no service, it's almost kind of freeing. You're like, oh, yeah, wow, I get to be present for a minute. I get to be human for a minute.
Like, I don't have to make that decision to go on it or not.
Exactly. That's why. And then you feel bad. You look at TikTok for an hour. You're like, oh, I feel bad now. Ah, fuck, whatever. That's why I love getting away from it all for a bit, because like I tell Ryan, Ryan meditates like in the RV, like on a day-to-day basis or whatever, however you meditate. I meditate by like hiking and shutting my phone off. Yeah. I meditate when I work out and I have like no music playing or anything. It's just me and my mind and my body. Like that's me manifesting, envisioning, and meditating. And everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody does it in a different way. But I think the commonality is that you got to get away from your phone. You have to figure out what task is it that gets you off your phone. What little triggers can you do? Maybe it's, if you got to go get yourself an iced coffee and that's going to make you feel better, go fucking buy your iced coffee as long as you can afford it or whatever. Go do it. Or if, putting on these favorite pants and dressing in a certain way is going to get you in the zone and get you off your phone, do it. But whatever you can do to put that damn phone down and really get yourself to zone in on something, your future self is going to thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I found the best way to do it is to literally like put it in a different room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't that crazy though? Like how fucking like
I can't look at it.
no, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, or it has to be face down.
Even that for me, I can't.
Really?
No.
If it's face up for me, like I'm like constantly like, bro, like the way that these programmers like created these apps is like insane.
It is,
bro. Like the way they just know like how to spark your dopamine levels
Yeah.
and all this shit. It's crazy.
But
dude.
here's another thing: no developer is in control of me. No,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs
But
ain't
they've
in
done a
control
pretty
of me.
good damn job.
They've done a damn good job, but I'm never gonna sit here and say, "Oh, the phone is so addicting. It's
Still
the
a choice,
phone."
yeah.
It's a choice, dude. I don't care how addicting it is. It's a choice. So you choose to put the phone down. No one's putting a gun to your head and telling you to look at it. As hard as it is, I will say it's extremely
Get on Tinder.
difficult. Yeah, I know. Steve Jobs ain't telling me to go on Tinder. I'm doing it myself. Yeah,
That's
man.
funny.
Yeah. Anything else, bro?
No, I think that wraps it up.
I love it, man. Everybody, Ryan's got a lot of good music coming out. Insiders, thank you so much. DM us on Instagram at JACXBMORE, MOORE, at Ryan Ramirez Official. And go listen to Ryan's music. He just dropped a new song with Rico Tarantino and a bunch of other people. Ryan just featured on it. It's on Rico Tarantino's page. And Ryan's got a lot of good music coming out. We got a lot of good shit planned, man. So Insiders, we appreciate it. Peace out.
What's in your mind for you and for I? I'm trying to decide from the look in your eyes, yeah. I mean my signs, but your feelings inside you. I'm messing up my mind and my spirit, babe.